9 signs. A woman hasn't slept with a man in a long time. Psychology tricks desire is the deepest truth of the human heart. It never hides. It only waits to be recognized. Men often assume women are masters at concealing their longing. The truth desire leaks out in ways she can't fully control. Spend enough time around a woman who hasn't been intimate in a long while, and subtle clues begin to surface. Her gaze lingers a little too long. Her humor drips with playful innuendo. Her casual touches last a beat more than necessary. These aren't accidents. They're signals. And here's the trap. If you miss them, she silently brands you as oblivious. If you pounce too aggressively, you look like a predator. Either way, you lose. The real danger isn't the signal itself. It's losing your power by failing to read the psychology behind it. That's why you must sharpen your perceptive, because once you learn to recognize these signs, you'll never mistake a playful tease for disinterest again. Stay with me, because I'm about to reveal 9 clear psychological cues that expose when a woman hasn't shared intimacy in a long time, and how you can recognize them without crossing any lines. Before we dive in, I want you to do something simple. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and answer this question in the comments. Yes or no? Have you ever felt a woman was signaling you, but you weren't sure what it meant? Writing it down not only breaks the ice, it shows you're not the only man who's wrestled with that uncertainty. Stick around, because the insights I'm about to share will erase that confusion for good and give you an advantage most men never develop. Number 1. The body doesn't lie. You can argue all day about words, but when it comes to attraction and unmet desire, the body becomes the loudest witness. Female psychology shows us that the unconscious speaks through posture, gestures, and micro-expressions far more honestly than lips ever will. A woman who hasn't been close to a man in a long time will radiate a subtle yet unmistakable energy, and psychology tricks teach us how to notice it without being desperate or creepy. Don't expect a neon sign flashing, "I want you." That's not how female psychology works. Instead, you'll notice a longer gaze, a lean into your space, or her fingers brushing against her neck or hair. In moments she doesn't even realize. That is not coincidence. It is her nervous system searching for release. Her body craving connection. Her spirit pulling closer to you. But here's the truth. These cues alone don't prove she's been untouched for months. They are first and foremost signs of genuine attraction. Number 1. The body doesn't lie. Intimacy has been absent is because suppressed energy always seeks expression. That is why context matters more than isolated moments. One signal is nothing. A pattern of signals is everything. Don't reduce this to detective work. Don't stand there counting hair flips or tallying eye contact. Like you're scoring a game, that is how you kill the vibe and strangle the very connection you're hoping to build. You must feel the energy, stay grounded, and let the moment flow, a high value. Man knows the difference between observation and obsession. He knows his power is in awareness, not in over-analysis. When you see her leaning in, don't lunge when you notice her smile. Don't assume it's an invitation to invade her space. Don't confuse simple friendliness with desire. Test softly. Step back half a pace. If she closes the gap, her body has answered the question for you. If she doesn't, you saved yourself from embarrassment and kept your masculine energy intact. That is the art, being steady, being calm, reading the flow without losing your frame. Shoulders, back, chest, open eyes, steady when you are grounded. You don't project your neediness. You attract women naturally. You don't chase signals. You let signals chase you. And here's the kicker. Once her body begins to reveal, her words often follow with humor, a different kind of test, a playful weapon. She'll tease, she'll joke, she'll throw in innuendos to see if you can handle it without cracking. Female psychology loves to test masculine energy because deep down, women don't just want attention. They want strength, stability, and leadership. If you crumble, you lose. If you stand tall, you win. Psychology tricks Remind us, don't respond with over-eagerness, don't misread her cues, don't act before you've confirmed the pattern. The way to fall in love, the way to unlock her hidden desire is not by rushing, but by mastering presence, patience, and playfulness. Attraction is not about chasing, it's about magnetism. Be the man who notices without being desperate, who listens without interrogating, who observes without judgment. That is how to fall in love with dignity, how to attract women with masculine energy. How to use psychology tricks wisely. Remember her body, whispers, truths, her mouth won't say. And if you train yourself to notice the difference, you won't just read her, you'll master the game. Number 2. The eyes speak louder than words. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, and that's no exaggeration. A woman can wear the most careful mask with her words. But her eyes, those silent messengers, always betray the truth when she hasn't felt the touch of intimacy for a long time. Desire doesn't announce itself with words, it leaks out through her gaze. Pay attention. She doesn't simply glance at you like she does with strangers on the street. She lingers. She holds your eyes a fraction longer than normal, then breaks away quickly as if she just revealed too much. That quick retreat is not weakness. It's the nervous spark of attraction fighting against restraint. If you're sharp, you'll notice even more. Her pupils dilate when you're close, as though her body is responding before her mind catches up. Her gaze may drift unconsciously to your lips while you're talking, betraying the thought she doesn't dare say out loud. These are not coincidences. These are signals, the body's raw truth, when the tongue refuses to confess a high value. Man knows how to read this silent language. He doesn't get lost chasing words. He reads the unspoken, but be warned, don't turn into a hunter staring down prey. Nothing kills attraction faster than a man who mistakes intensity for connection. That is the mark of insecurity. Instead, meet her gaze with calm, grounded, masculine energy. Hold it for a beat, then soften as if to say, I see you and I'm not rattled. That kind of quiet dominance separates the average man from the one who truly knows his power. Here's a test. Only men with confidence can pull off. Break eye contact deliberately. Wait a moment. Then look back, if she's still watching you, even from the corner of her eye. You have your answer. That's confirmation. Attraction may be quiet, but it's persistent. When words hide, the eyes confess, and the man who learns to listen to that confession without a single sound is the man who never misses the truth to attract women. You must master subtlety. Don't demand, don't chase. Let her show her desire in the only way she feels safe, through fleeting looks that speak volumes. Think of it like a game of cards. The average man plays by asking questions, fumbling for signs, or begging for reassurance. The high-value man sits back, watches the microsignals, and lets the truth unfold without force. He knows that attraction isn't built by interrogation, but by awareness, and the one who masters this awareness holds all the power. Remember this in a world where everyone talks too much. The strongest men are those who can read the language of silence, a man who controls his eyes, who responds with presence rather than desperation, naturally radiates masculine energy. He doesn't need to chase validation, because women are already drawn to his calm confidence. That is the secret, that is the edge. So don't underestimate the eyes. Don't ignore the small flickers of truth hidden in her gaze. Be the man who sees without asking, who listens without words, who recognizes desire before it's spoken, because once you master that, you'll never be blind again. Number 3. Playful provocation. Playful provocation is one of the most underestimated signals in female psychology, and if you're a man between 35 and 70, you must learn to see it for what it really is. When a woman hasn't been with a man for a long time, her humor often turns into a testing ground. Jokes aren't just jokes, they're probes. As Oscar Wilde once said, a woman's guess is much more accurate than a man's certainty, and her teasing remarks are rarely random. They carry weight there. Her way of saying, "Do you notice me? Do you have the iron mind to catch the signal without falling into the trap?" Take James, a 46-year-old sales manager for years. He and his neighbor exchanged casual talk. Then one evening she smirked and said, "It's been forever since anything exciting happened in my evenings." Days later, she added, "I should probably get a hobby, or maybe some company at night while locking eyes with him." That wasn't innocent chatter. It was a strategy in modern life. When women wrap intentions inside humor, men must respond like old Stoic wisdom. Teaches calm, sharp, and balanced. Don't lunge forward like a hungry wolf. Don't freeze like a frightened boy. That is how respect is lost. Instead, lean on stoicism. Win acknowledge the humor without diving into vulgarity. Then redirect a confident, light remark, such as "careful," that almost sounded like an invitation. Shows awareness and authority. If she circles back to the same playful provocation, you've confirmed her intent without losing composure. Remember, Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her humor is an event. Your iron mind is the response. Men today fail when they mistake suggestive laughter for harmless banter, or when they overcompensate by turning crude. Both destroy attraction. But when you master the art of measured engagement, you flip the script. You stand as the high-value man she's hoping to meet. Don't miss this truth. Provocative humor is not just about words, it's about opening a door. And once laughter carries electricity, physical touch often follows subtle. At first, an excuse to brush your arm, a playful shove, a longer hug in today's world where people mask desire behind screens and filters. Face-to-face humor becomes one of the rawest signals of interest. You must train yourself to see it. You must resist reacting like the average man. You must handle it with calm authority, because when you do, you make her feel both seen and safe, and that is what she truly craves. Let's be clear, don't treat this as a game to exploit. Treat it as a signpost, pointing to connection. Let old Stoic wisdom guide you, patience, presence, and strength. That is how you achieve stoicism, win in relationships. That is how you hold your iron mind steady when desire tries to pull you off balance. And that is how you attract women without losing your dignity. If this message helped you see the hidden layers of female psychology, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more wisdom, and share it with a brother who needs it. Humor is never just a joke. It's a signal, a test, a doorway. A high-value man doesn't miss it. He handles it with calm confidence to lock this lesson into your mind. Comment below. I respond with confidence, not confusion. Number 4. Small touches, big messages. Don't underestimate the brush of a hand, the gentle press of fingers on your arm, or a hug that lingers longer than casual friendship allows. That is not random in female psychology. Touch is the most ancient language, and when a woman hasn't felt intimacy in a long time, her body begins to speak before her words ever do. Her fingertips betray her hunger for connection. Her embrace whispers about nights of emptiness, and her closeness is a silent confession. She may never voice be sharp. Don't confuse these touches with accidents. Don't dismiss them as polite gestures. You must understand that in the realm of psychology tricks, the body always reveals what the mouth hides. Caroline, a 42-year-old single mother, lived this truth for months. She met a man at a cafe. Each conversation framed in laughter and ordinary routine. Yet slowly, the current shifted her hand, grazed his forearm. When making a point, her farewell hug became heavier, lingering like a question she was afraid to ask. One afternoon, that hug lingered too long. Her eyes lowered, and the silence between them grew thick. That was not just a hug, it was her body's desperate memory of intimacy, her unspoken plea for warmth. That is how female psychology reveals its secrets, not in the obvious but in the subtle. A man blind to these cues is a man blind to opportunity. A high-value man reads touch like a map, not rushing in lust, but standing steady. Calm masculine energy unshaken. Don't flinch away nervously. Don't leap to escalation like a fool, starving for validation test. Gently pause. Hold the silence. If she leans closer again, if her hand finds yours twice, if her body seeks yours without words, that is no coincidence. That is attraction, unfolding psychology. Tricks teach us that once the body becomes comfortable with touch, the mouth follows with confession, with desire, with truth. The lesson is clear. Small touches are the beginning of big stories. And if you want to know how to fall in love, you must first know how to listen to the body. Don't miss it. Don't be passive. That is how men lose their chance. Be decisive, be aware and understand this. Every brush of her skin against yours could be the spark that lights the fire she has been waiting for. And if you fail to read it, you're not just missing a signal, you're missing the whole game. Number 5. From small talk to soul talk. Every high-value man has been in this situation. The conversation starts light work, hobbies, daily routines, and suddenly she dives into deeper waters out of nowhere. She's talking about her past relationships, her loneliness, or confessing that she misses the warmth of having someone close. Don't think it's accidental. That shift is deliberate. It's her way of testing your masculine energy, seeing if you're strong enough to hold space for her vulnerability without flinching or rushing. Women don't gamble with their souls when she moves from small talk to soul talk. She's revealing hunger that's been locked away for too long. Take Laura, a 50-year-old teacher at reunions. She'd laugh at old stories, but the laughter would eventually fade into confessions about her past. One night, she admitted to a friend, "I can't even remember the last time I felt like myself when I was with someone that wasn't chatter." That was her soul slipping through the cracks of her carefully managed composure. That is the sign. And if you're blind to it, you miss the key moment where attraction could be built or destroyed. You must understand women. Test men through vulnerability, not through perfection. When she offers her inner world, she's not begging for sympathy. She's scanning for strength. A high-value man doesn't interrupt, doesn't trivialize, and doesn't treat her confessions like a green light for seduction. Instead, he mirrors her emotions in grounded language. Sounds like what you miss most is the sense of safety that simple reflection shows masculine energy in action. It proves you hear her, not just her words, but her longing beneath them. Don't underestimate how rare that is in today's world. Listening deeply is a power move. Don't rush. Don't treat her vulnerability as a trap door into her bedroom. That's the mistake average men make. And it backfires. Be patient when she leans in. Lean back with calm, invite her for something neutral. A walk, a coffee, a slow conversation under the stars. If she continues to open up, know this. Her shift is intentional. Women rarely risk emotional exposure unless they're signaling unmet desire. And the man who respects that rhythm is the one who knows how to attract women without cheap tricks. But beware, with openness comes another subtle force. Quiet jealousy, when a woman begins to rediscover her feelings with you. Her eyes may darken at the thought of sharing that connection with anyone else. That jealousy isn't toxic in this context. It's proof she's attaching. Yet if you mishandle it, if you push too fast or play too clever, it turns against you. That is why you must move like a man who understands female psychology. Steady, grounded, impossible to shake. Here's the bottom line. When small talk becomes soul talk, you are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to connection, intimacy and trust. The other path collapses under impatience and ego. A high-value man chooses wisely. He knows attraction is not about flashy moves, but about masculine energy. Steady enough to hold a woman's truth. Don't miss that moment. Don't run from it. Be the man who listens when her soul finally dares to speak. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting. Very interesting in the comment section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. Number 6. Quiet jealousy. Not all jealousy shouts. Sometimes it whispers in the silence, in the awkward pause, in the subtle shift of her tone. When you mention another woman, that's the sign you must notice. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind. Not outside events, realize this, and you will find strength." Quiet jealousy is not about control. It is about fear. Fear of being replaced. Fear of losing a potential bond. And men, you must see this without arrogance, but with clarity. A high-value man with an iron mind doesn't react wildly. He reads the silence and holds steady when you tell a story about another woman, and she suddenly changes the subject, when her playful jab cuts deeper than the surface. That is not coincidence. That is her emotions slipping through. Old Stoic wisdom teaches. Be calm in the storm. That is exactly your test here. Don't over-explain. Don't fan the flames. Don't lose your frame. Be the calm presence that reassures her in modern life. We see this everywhere. Mike at work casually mentioned a new female colleague, and the woman who had been showing him signals froze for a moment, then threw out a joke that sounded playful but carried tension underneath. Well, some people get all the luck. That wasn't just a joke, that was quiet. Jealousy speaking. And if you fail to read it, you fail to see her investment. This is where Stoicism, when becomes practical. You test softly, not by confrontation, but by shifting the focus back to values. What really matters to me is who I can actually trust with my time. If she relaxes, if her guard drops, you have your confirmation. Quiet. Jealousy is a paradox. It is soft but strong, hidden but loud, subtle but sharp. A man must train himself to hear what is not said, to see what is not obvious. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That's the principle at work here. Quiet jealousy is not an enemy. It is an opportunity. It is her heart signaling without words that she cares enough to feel uneasy about competition. Don't misread it. Don't mock it. Use it as proof that she values your attention. But remember, only a man with an iron mind can hold steady in this test. That is what makes you stand apart from the crowd. That is what makes you attractive. Not chasing, not over-explaining, but standing firm in your masculine energy. Old Stoic wisdom says the calm man wins twice, once over himself and once over the situation. Quiet jealousy is one of those moments where you either prove your strength or expose your weakness. So be decisive, be calm, and be watchful. Don't let your ego blind you. Let Stoicism win. Read her silence as carefully as her words, and you will master this sign, like a man who knows life is a battlefield of perception, not just action. And when you train your eye for these psychology tricks, you don't just understand female behavior. You master the game with clarity, confidence, and command. That is victory. That is the iron mind. Number 7, creating alone time. Don't ignore this, because in female psychology, it's one of the clearest psychology tricks a woman uses when she's quietly inviting connection. A woman who hasn't been with a man in a long time rarely spells it out directly. Instead, she engineers moments where it's just the two of you, away from the crowd, away from distractions, away from the noise that is never an accident. It's a choice, a signal. A test alone time is her way of saying, I want to see who you are when the world isn't watching. Be smart enough to notice that. Don't treat it like nothing. She knows privacy lowers barriers. She knows closeness doesn't bloom under bright lights or in noisy restaurants. It blooms in silence, in small moments, in the space between words. This is why she suggests dinner at her place, a walk after dark, or even a simple drive with no one else around. It's not about the activity. It's about the setting that is female psychology in motion. And if you want to understand how to fall in love the right way, you must learn to read. Think of Caroline, the single mom for weeks. Her routine was predictable. Coffee meet UPS in public, safe and casual. Then one evening, she changed the script. She invited him for dinner at her home. It wasn't a feast. It wasn't a spectacle. It was quiet, ordinary, yet charged with meaning. They sat on the couch afterward, and silence filled the room. But that silence was not empty. It was loaded. She didn't rush to break it with nervous chatter. She let it breathe, and in that silence, she gave him the loudest invitation possible. That moment shows you exactly what alone time means in female psychology. It's a window, not a guarantee. It's possibility, not permission, and the man who mistakes it will fail the test. So here's the checklist for alone time. Don't walk in with arrogance. Don't assume her invitation is a green light. To push boundaries, that is the fastest way to lose her respect. Be grounded, be steady, enter with the mindset of connection, not conquest. Appreciate the trust she's offering, because when a woman creates a private space for you, she's giving you something rare access, not just to her home or her schedule, but to her vulnerability. Don't abuse it. Don't rush it. You must show discipline. You must show patience. That is the difference between a boy and a high-value man. A boy gets nervous and pushes. A man sits in the silence with confidence. Knowing tension itself can be powerful. A boy turns the moment into pressure. A man turns it into safety, and trust me, women can feel the difference instantly. Use psychology tricks wisely. Test softly, say something like, "I like this. It's easier to talk when it's just us." That simple line acknowledges intimacy without smothering it. It respects the moment, it builds trust. If she leans closer, if she opens up, if she lets her guard down, you'll know her invitation was deliberate. If she relaxes in your presence, you'll know you've passed the test. But if you get restless, if you try to force the outcome, you'll fail. That is why alone time is sacred. It's not about what you do, it's about how you hold the space. The man who can handle silence, who can carry masculine energy without turning it into pressure, is the man who stands out. Women don't forget that. Because once you're in her private space, everything, her playful jokes, her subtle touches, her lingering glances, starts to come together like pieces of a puzzle. And that puzzle spells one thing: constant flirting. Don't underestimate the power of that rhythm. Don't miss it. Don't break it alone. Time is one of the most overlooked signs of attraction, yet it's also one of the strongest. Female psychology teaches us that intimacy is built in quiet corners, not crowded rooms. If you truly want to know how to fall in love in a way that lasts, pay attention when she creates that moment. It's her way of handing you the key. The question is, can you hold it without fumbling? Because the man who masters this, who understands the unspoken, who responds with strength and not desperation, is the man who doesn't just spark her interest. He earns her trust, her respect, and eventually her heart. If you recognize the power of silence and the invitation behind her creating space for you, you already understand what most men miss. Connection is stronger than conquest. Comment to remember: I honor her trust with strength. Number 8. Constant flirting. Don't confuse it with the light-hearted banter people toss around just for fun. This isn't a random joke here and there. This is steady, deliberate, and it has a purpose. That is her way of sending a flare into your world. I'm here. I'm interested. I'm testing whether you'll notice. Female psychology often speaks louder in patterns than in words, and constant flirting is one of the clearest. Be alert. Don't dismiss it as harmless chatter. A high-value man must learn to read the undercurrent and not get lost in the surface. Waves take Mike the engineer. Every conversation with his colleague turned into a game of verbal ping-pong. He'd say he was tired, she'd pounce. Or maybe you just need better company at night. She laughed. But her eyes carried the weight of a truth she wasn't spelling out. And Mike noticed something important. She didn't treat anyone else this way. That contrast mattered. That was the proof. Constant flirting isn't universal. It's targeted, precise, and aimed at the man she wants. You must recognize the difference between playful talk and signals of attraction. Because female psychology uses subtle cues to open the door without ever speaking the words. Now let's get practical. How do you handle it without fumbling your masculine energy? First, acknowledge it with composure, not arrogance, a confident line. Like we always end up in this playful back and forth, don't we? Shows you're not clueless. Don't drag it out forever, though. Endless teasing makes you look passive. Like you're too afraid to make a move. Be decisive, shift gears when the moment is right. Test, softly say something like, "If you're comfortable, I'd like us to spend some time just talking about what this is between us." That's clear. That's direct. That's what a high-value man does. He doesn't hide in the shadows of endless jokes, he creates clarity. Here's the trap most men fall into. They confuse her, flirting with an invitation to chase harder. Wrong. Don't overplay it. Don't become needy. She isn't daring you to smother her with attention. She's signaling that the door is unlocked. That is your moment to walk through it with calm strength. If you react like a boy, you lose her respect. If you hold steady like a man, you attract women. Naturally, psychology tricks aren't about manipulation. They're about awareness. She's already testing. If you can rise to her energy without collapsing under it, the deeper lesson, constant flirting, is not just about her words, but about her consistency. Watch her body language, her tone, her attention. If you're the only one getting that kind of treatment, you're not imagining it. That is her way of building the bridge. Your job is to step onto it with steadiness. Masculine energy thrives not in overreaction, but in measured, confident response. Don't let the moment slip into endless ambiguity. Be bold enough to recognize it, wise enough to handle it, and strong enough to turn playful sparks into genuine connection. When you embody the role of a high-value man, you stop being confused by signals and start mastering them. You attract women, not by chasing, but by understanding. Constant flirting is female psychology's way of whispering, "Take the lead, that is your cue. Don't miss it, don't hesitate, recognize it, own it, and move with confidence." That's how a man transforms a tease into truth. Number 9. Energy shifts in her presence. And you must understand this. Truth. Desire isn't always spoken, touched or joked about. It vibrates in the air like electricity. When a woman hasn't felt closeness in a long time, her presence tells the story before her lips ever could. Her laughter grows louder, her gestures more animated, her nerves less contained, and her body betrays its own longing through fidgeting, subtle touches and nervous glances. Watch for the contrast around her friends. She's calm, neutral, balanced around you. She radiates a magnetic charge that is not coincidence. That is attraction spilling into the open. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Her soul in those moments is dyed with desire, and her body cannot help but display it. Don't ignore this energy. Don't mirror her nervousness. Don't let your composure crumble. A man with an iron mind stays grounded, lets her energy rise, and allows her to feel both excited and safe. That's how old Stoic wisdom applies in modern life. Be still, while her energy moves. That polarity is what creates fire. Here's your checklist. Stay calm, stay steady. Don't overreact if she pulls harder for your attention. When you withdraw slightly, asking more questions, teasing or drawing you back in, you must recognize the truth. She values your presence more than she admits. Energy doesn't lie. It's invisible, yet undeniable. It separates casual company from magnetic chemistry. Feel it, don't force it. Learn to master it. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Self. Mastery is the weapon that gives you victory in these silent battles with stoicism. Win in your heart. You see the game for what it is, and never stumble like the man who confuses signals with certainty. Now step back and see the bigger picture. The body gives it away. The jokes sharpen the touches, linger. The conversations grow deeper. Jealousy sneaks in. Invitations appear. The flirting never stops. That is the progression. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. But understand this, recognizing signs is not enough. How you respond defines whether you rise as a man of clarity or collapse like a boy lost in confusion. Rule 1. Patterns, not moments. Don't obsess over a single hug or one sharp joke alone. They are noise when they repeat. They become music. Rule 2. Verify with clarity. Don't play guessing games. Speak with calm honesty. I feel like there's something here. Am I reading this right? That single question carries more masculine strength than hours of hesitation. Rule 3. Patience is power. Don't rush. Don't push the man who breathes waits and allows the moment to unfold. Naturally is always the most attractive option in the room. That is the power of an iron mind. Men, take this lesson into your life in modern relationships, in business, even in friendships. The energy shift is real. People reveal themselves through consistency, not accidents. Don't chase shadows. Don't beg for proof. Don't get caught in confusion. Use old Stoic wisdom to guide your steps. Build an iron mind. Recognize attraction, but master your response. That is how you rise. That is how you win, in the end. The goal isn't simply to attract women. It's to command yourself so powerfully that the world bends towards your presence. That is Stoicism. Win, that is victory. Conclusion. 9. Signs. A woman hasn't slept with a man in a long time. Psychology tricks. Brothers, let me leave you with this: strength isn't just about reading the signs. It's about how you carry yourself after you see them. A boy lets his impulses lead, but a man leads with discipline, purpose, and respect. Don't exploit her openness. Protect it. Don't confuse her signals as permission. Treat them as trust. You must safeguard real clarity. Doesn't come from rushing. It comes from responding with maturity. That's what separates a man. Women remember from a man. They forget. So, my advice to you is simple. Slow down, lead with values, and let your masculine energy create safety, not pressure. If this gave you a moment of clarity, do something right now. Subscribe. Share this with a friend and drop a comment with the phrase, "I choose clarity," along with your city. That's how you claim your ground as a high-value man. Stay strong, stay wise, and I'll see you in the next one.